Discernment is so real. Let me tell you what happened. So I come to my hotel, and of course I'm lit. Of course I'm in New Orleans, but again, I'm not thinking nothing of it. So get on the elevator, whatever. This dude is on the elevator, and he didn't press nothing. Like, in order for you to go to your room, you have to have a card. In order to get in, you have to have a card. So I'm on the phone, and this is why it's so good to pay attention to our surroundings, y'all, for real. The elevator door closes, and neither one of us put our card up there because, no, you tripping. I'm gonna let you push your button first because, no. So I realized that he never pressed the button. And again, in order for you to go on your floor, you have to have a card. So when the door closed, I asked him like, hey, do you have a card? He didn't say nothing. I played it off real cool as if I was about to press my floor, but I pressed the button to open the door. We were still at the lobby floor. I opened that door so fucking fast because I'm like, nah, this ain't it. So I get out. And just so happened the front desk person come and he like, you cool? I'm like, nah, I'm not cool. He like, what's going on? And I'm like, the person that I was on the elevator with, he didn't use his card to press the button, like as if he waiting for me. And I feel like he was gonna follow me, like I'm a female. And he was like, no, just stay right here. So anyway, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just press the elevator again, and I'm gonna go back, go upstairs. Why, when the elevator opened, it's him. So I asked, I'm like, do you have a key? He like, yeah. And he shows me the key. So I'm like, okay, So I did not get on that elevator because what? So I ended up telling the front desk person, I'm like, So then I pressed the elevator again and nobody was on it. So of course I got on it. What I'm saying is to say, good thing you have to pay attention to your surroundings, especially as women, because what? You thought you was gonna follow me to my room? It's crazy. That was crazy. And I have a lot of crazy stories about stuff in New Orleans that we didn't went through because I'm from here, so But that, I'm like, what? And y'all know it's Pride Week, so everybody outside did lit. Follow me. Wasn't going for it. So, make a long story short, I made it inside. God is so good because what? Y'all, for real, we gotta pay attention to our surroundings, lit and all, cause no, they really have some creepy ass people in the world. And at this current time, it's 3:17 a.m. and we all know what happened on that time of the night, especially the 3 a.m. people. If you know, you know.
The scary side of New Orleans story time. Jesse and Chris finally saved up enough money to go on their first vacation. Their dream was to go to New Orleans. So they get there. Jessie wants to do some sightseeing. She goes to Bourbon Street, but she also knew New Orleans is known for their graveyards. They have beautiful scenery and historic graves. So she goes to one that has public access. Before Jessie knows it, it's already almost dark. The sun's setting, and it's getting darker. The whole mood is changing. She gets to this real tall monument, and 3 men pop out from behind it. All 3 start smiling at her. One says, give me your bag. Another says, get on your knees. The third one walked behind her and put her hands behind her back. As the first one is digging through her purse, she sees something moving out the corner of her eye. As the third one is attempting to tie her wrist, an elderly woman comes from behind another gravestone. Jessie said it was like she just appeared out of nowhere. She had long dreads, bracelets covering both her arms, a necklace with a huge emblem. One eye is white, the other eye is solid black. Her dress was made out of burlap. She had burlap wrapped around her feet for shoes. The older lady approaches them smiling. So at first Jessie didn't know if she was with them or not, until the elderly lady said, leave her be. The man holding her wrist said, what are you going to do about it, Grandma? And the elderly lady looked down and then looked back up, and her eyes had switched colors. The woman said, well, let's find out. Run. All 3 men started running. Jessie said one tripped and slammed his head on a gravestone, split like a watermelon. That scared the other 2 men so bad that one fell out clutching his chest. The other man kept running. The old woman said, "You have no idea what they were about to do to you. You need to get out of here before dark." Jesse said, "Thank you so much. Is there anything that I can do for you? You just saved my life." The old woman said, "Get out of here. It's almost dark. And there are things out here a lot worse than those three." Jessie grabbed her purse and stood up. She began to turn around and walk away. The old woman said, "What don't you understand? Get out of here now. Run." So Jessie took off running until she got to her car. She got in her vehicle, crunk it up, and while she turned around, she glanced up at the graveyard, and she said she saw over 1,000 different people. Nothing but black and white eyes all throughout the graveyard. So she sped back to her hotel room where her husband was, and she told him all about it. He said that's so crazy, because while he was walking down Bourbon Street, this older man of African descent came up to him. The elderly man said, "Your soulmate is in danger. You need to find her right now." He said, "That's why you have like 50 missed calls from me." Jessie cut her cell phone back on, and there were about 50 missed calls from her husband, and tons of texts of him asking where she was. They done some research and found out New Orleans is known for their protective spirits. Some call them guardian angels, protectors. I want to thank Jessie for sending her story in. I really enjoyed it.
Imagine getting bullied so bad that you went and bought a Ouija board to make it all stop. Yes, cousins, we're back with another story time. Let's get into it. Okay, so there was a set of triplets, identical triplets at that. Now, one girl in particular stayed getting bullied because she was like the standoffish one and the shy one. So their names are Sierra, she's the oldest, Tiara, she's the middle, and also the ones that's getting bullied, and Kiara. They're all 5 minutes apart, and growing up, they spent their whole life together. Same school, same church, same household, just same everything. So over the years, Tiara's self-esteem kept dropping lower and lower because she kept getting bullied, despite the fact she had 2 sisters. So by this time, Tiara's in the 7th grade. Now, she's scrolling online and she happens to see a Ouija board. She ended up ordering one using her mother's credit card at that, but when it came in the mail, she hid it from everybody. Now she's secretly playing with this Ouija board over and over and over. Now she's becoming very standoffish from Kiara and Sierra because she's so focused on this Ouija board. Little did she know what's about to happen. So 2 weeks go by and nothing is happening that she wanted to happen. So one particular day as she's playing with this board, she tells the board, "If nothing happens, I'm going to break you and throw you away for good." So she's shouting at this board like, how are you supposed to help me if nothing that I want done is happening? So she gets frustrated. She puts the board back into the box. She put it in her book bag and she pushes it under her bed. So that same night, after everyone went to sleep and she thought she was going to sleep, her bed started to shake. And not only did that, she started seeing shadows in her room. All of this is going on. Tiara is the only one awake. Mind you, her other 2 sisters are in the room with her. But she said she was not scared. So she went under her bed to get the Ouija board. She's talking to it while she's under the bed. And when she happened to look across, she's seen a pair of shoes on the other side of the bed. Now that did startle her a little bit because she knew when she came from under this bed, she's probably going to see something. So as she comes from under the bed, she see a shadow sitting on the edge of her bed from the neck down. So she asks it, "Why are you here? Are you here to come and take me?" And she said, "He said, no, I'm here to help you." So Tiara started smiling. So the shadow told her he knew everything that she was going through and he was going to take care of it. So Tiara asks him, "Well, how are you going to take care of it?" So he taps his hand across her bed and says, "Don't worry about it. Just know I'm going to take care of it. What all do you want me to do?" So she tells him she wants all the bullying to stop as soon as possible, and she wants them all to pay for what they did and said to her, and she wants a front row seat to it. Then to make her a lovable person that has a lot of friends that would never harm her. So he said, "Okay, done. However, I have a small fee for myself." So Tiara said, "Sure, I'll do whatever to make this go away." Now Tiara still cannot see his face. Now he told her what he wanted from Tiara. However, she wasn't fully paying attention because she realized that the voice sounded so familiar. So as he's stating what he wanted, she's focused on the voice and she shakes his hand in agreement without even knowing what he just said to her. So he left. Tiara went to sleep. So the morning comes, she wakes up like nothing happened. She gets ready with her sisters. They wash up and they go have breakfast. Now it was a Saturday, so they all planned on spending the night over at their cousin's house because also it's Halloween as well. So the triplets and all the cousins end up going to a Halloween party, which was a haunted shed. Now, Sierra and Kiera was very protective over Tiara, so they already knew once they got to this party, they was going to have their eyes and attention locked on Tiara to make sure that she was good to go. So as they walk into this haunted shed, that's when everything took a turn for the worse. She said it felt like the whole room changed into this creepy cornfield with all of these bad spirits in there. And somehow, some way, they all got split up. But the shadow deity that came to visit Tiara the night before, what he wanted was souls that she agreed to give him. That's exactly what he took from this party. Tiara says she witnessed her own sisters, Kiera and Sierra's souls, leave their body. So Tiara starts to bawl her eyes out. The deity looks at her and tells her, there's no need to cry. We had a deal. The ones that was actually hurting and harming you was your own two sisters. I witnessed them do unthinkable things to you and also heard conversations about you that you didn't hear. The deity said he was coming back into this life as another life, so he had to fulfill his dues and collect souls. So Tiara's like, no, you're lying. So he began to show her conversations that she was not a part of that Sierra and Kiera was having about her. Right after that, she passed out. She ended up waking up at home looking for this Ouija board that was nowhere to be found. Outside of this Ouija board disappearing, there was also no knowledge of her even having any sisters. There was no pictures, there was no bed, there was nothing, but she do know she had memories of her sisters. Remember the credit card, her mom's credit card that she used to buy that Ouija board? There wasn't even a trace of a payment on her mom's card statement. Tiara said it was like their existence was just wiped from this earth. But she immediately gained new friends that replaced her sisters. Yeah. I actually got submitted this story at 2:23 in the morning. Yeah. Very interesting. Anyway, if you guys have any story that you want to submit to me, make sure you guys DM it to me or make sure you guys send it to my email that's in my bio. All right, I'll be back with another story time. Until then, enjoy this one.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So I'm Haitian and I have a lot of stories about paranormal activity, but this one in particular really got me. Back in 2019, I did a road trip and one of the stops on my road trip was New Orleans. I rented out this Airbnb. It's called Melrose Mansion. Upon arrival, the place looked really nice. It was kind of difficult to figure out where to park, so I parked on the side of the street and then went in to talk to the attendant. As soon as I walk in, I noticed that the attendant that was there had a black eye. Like, I'm talking black and blue, looked like someone really did a number on him. Prior to this, I was looking at the reviews and someone did mention that the person had a black eye, and I'm going to insert right here. So he checks me in and goes and shows me around the mansion. The place is really nice. Like, the ambiance and just the infrastructure of the place was really, really nice. But one thing that I noticed was that there were pictures of different people on the wall, and it was like black and white. I personally can sense energy. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I could always sense stuff and I could always hear things and see things. So as we're walking around, like, I can feel when the energy is shifting. And I'm just like, I start to ask him, is this place haunted? He was just like, no, not, I mean, people do say things that they've seen things, but I'm not aware of that, so I wouldn't know. He shows me to the room, and the first thing that he does is he checks the bed. Unbeknownst to me, the bed has termites, so he's just like, okay, well, you can't stay here, so I'm going to upgrade you to another room. The room that I was upgraded to was a lot more spacious, and it came with a hot tub. Walking around the room, and I'm noticing that the rooms also have pictures of people in their black and white. At this time, it's summertime in New Orleans, so it's really hot, and I decide to go in the bathtub. As I'm in the bathtub, I can feel the water start pulling me down. Like, the water is forcing me to go underwater. So that freaked me out, and I decided to stop and then just take a shower instead. Day turned into night. I ordered some dinner, and I think I got DoorDash. So I eat my food, everything is good, everything is fine, and I start to go to sleep. Girl, let me tell you, I woke up to the bag that I ordered dinner from moving, rustling, tussling. And I'm like, what the world? So as I'm getting clarity in my eyes, I look up, the reflection on the TV, there's a black figure hovering over me.
I'm scared of you. Oh no, I'm scared of you.
At this point, I'm like,
Hell no. Come on, wait till the no. Come on.
so I'm freaking out. I don't want to sleep in here anymore. The energy is just too much for me. Like, I'm starting to see things. I'm starting to hear things. Like, I needs to go. I was really thinking of sleeping in my car, but I was only staying for one night, and I was just like, okay, let me just stay here for that night and be gone tomorrow. I did my little prayer.
Blood of Jesus.
And the rest of the night was smooth sailing. Nothing happened. The next morning, I hurry up, get my stuff, check out, but the attendant is different. It was a different person there. It's like not finding my reservation. He didn't even know I was in the room. He was just so surprised that someone was staying there and was just like, I'll just check you out and have a good day. I'm thinking to myself, like, how you not know I was there the whole time? Anyways, that's all that I have. But if you want any more ghost stories, I have a lot to tell.
Okay, so right now I'm on New Orleans TikTok where they're talking about all the like haunted and like vampire stuff that's like happening to them. And I don't have like a lot of like stories like this, but I do have one of when I was an EMT, and me and my 50-year-old Christian woman partner, who she does not believe in this stuff at all. We were taking this patient that was on a 5150 that was being extended. And so we took her to like a longer stay home, which I've never seen like a home like this in LA before. But it was basically like this wood house in Atwater Village. And the moment you pull up, it just looks like this wooden Victorian situation, like something you would see in a movie. Like if you've ever seen that movie Monster House as a kid, like that's what it looked like. And the vibes were just like not right as soon as you got out. But I was like, you know, whatever. We get out and this poor woman, she was just not doing well. She was, I don't think I'm allowed to tell you what was wrong with her. Anyways, we get out and she was like, please don't leave me here. Like I can see things, and like she's like sobbing to me. She's like, please don't leave me here. But like, I have to, you know, like as much as I don't want to leave you here because it is fucking haunted, you can tell. What am I supposed to do? I'd be kidnapping you. Anyways, we get inside. We can barely get her freaking gurney in there. And we're taking her up to the room. The whole time she's just sobbing, this poor girl. And my partner just kind of attributed that to that obviously she didn't want to be in another mental health institution. But so we took her there. They did her vitals. They took her to the room and whatever. We were all done. We get in this elevator. We get in the elevator. And I'm like nervous laughing just thinking about it. We like condense our little gurney and we close the elevator and it says 3, 2, 1, and those are the only buttons. So we click 1 and we stop at 1, the doors don't open, and then it just keeps going down, and I'm like, what the fuck? And the doors open, pitch black. It's pitch black. This is obviously the basement, right? It's pitch black, and you can't really hear anything except like this growling, and not like that, but like growling of like a machine or something. And it's just like really eerie, and the vibes, the energy was just sucked out. Like it's like negative energy. I'm pushing the button and she's looking at me like, Hannah, please push the button. And I was like, I'm trying, like, and I'm pushing 1, I'm pushing 2, I'm pushing everything just so we could go up. And I'm not even shitting you when I say this. I say this with my whole heart. This is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. We hear footsteps, slow footsteps, like a heeled man's shoe walking from the back of the room to the front of the room, but it's pitch black. You can't see anything. Slow footsteps. And she looks at me and I was like, and we're both pushing buttons. We're pushing the emergency button. We're trying to manually close it because something was wrong. They are about to like come in the elevator light. The footsteps are about to come in the elevator light, and finally it closes. We go back up to 1, and she is like pooping her pants. I am like shaken to the core. And we look at the security guard and I'm like, there is something wrong with your elevator. It took us to the basement. He said, we don't have a basement here, ma'am. We get back in the ambulance. We just had to sit there. We couldn't even clean the gurney for a minute. Like, we had to sit there. And she said, what the fuck? This poor woman, she doesn't cuss. She's a good Christian woman. And we just never talked about it. Even talking about it is giving me like goosebumps because I
had a fling in New Orleans. He told me he was possessed, but in a fun way. I laughed until I looked in the mirror while we were doing it and saw someone else entirely. Somebody says my dog growled at my reflection. Not the mirror, my reflection. I am back with more spooky confessions. This is where y'all submit y'all confessions to me and I read them anonymously. Somebody says, I saw a photo of my great-grandmother for the first time last year. She's the woman who used to sit at the edge of my bed when I was a kid. Aww. Oh my God, somebody said, I used to fantasize about being touched by a spirit. One night I whispered, if you're real, show me. I blacked out and I've never orgasmed that hard again. You know, I've heard a lot about ghost dick. Somebody says, every time I hook up with this guy, his lights flicker. I don't know if it's a coincidence. Somebody says, my man started acting strange after our trip to Haiti. I thought it was jet lag until he started calling me Urzuli in bed, saying that I wasn't me anymore. In Jamaica, they said not to do the do near a silk cotton tree. Duppies live there. I didn't listen. Now I keep dreaming of a woman with red eyes watching us every time. Somebody says, we did it in a church just to be rebellious. A week later, I started bleeding from places that I shouldn't. The doctors couldn't find a cause, but I swear, I still hear the chanting. Somebody says, I tried a love spell after he left. I thought it didn't work until he showed up to my door completely soaked. He said that he walked from another state barefoot. I think that's it for me for today. Thank you for submitting your spooky confession. If you have a confession that you want me to tell anonymously, I do these videos once a week on my page. Feel free to submit it to me right here on TikTok. Love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Oh, and make sure you hit that plus button for longer, better, and more spooky content. Duh.
It's been 10 years since you and your sister have seen each other. You're now 28, she's now 26. You left home when you were 18 years old. Y'all home life was very toxic. A lot was going on and you didn't want no parts of it. Now, granted, you should have went back for your sister and you didn't. But there were a lot of reasons why we're just not gonna get into right now. Moving forward, y'all only spoke for y'all birthdays. Y'all didn't know what was going on in each other's lives, whether y'all was married, had kids, or none of that. It was literally a phone call on y'all birthdays, happy birthday, and that's it. But y'all decided to put a stop to that this year and had made plans for her to come down, bring her family. She was gonna meet your husband and kids on Halloween. So when the doorbell rang on Halloween day, you was ecstatic. You ran to the door and opened it, but the person that stood before you was not your sister. She introduced herself as your sister's wife, and she stated that your sister was missing. They were driving up in 2 separate cars because she was planning on going back the following day. Somewhere along the route, your sister veered off, sent her a text that said, keep going without me. I have something I need to do. I'll meet you at my sister's house. So you tell her, well, just come on in. Let's give it some time, and we'll go from there. Despite both of y'all trying to call her and her phone going to voicemail. So y'all sit down and y'all try to get to know each other, even though y'all still just thinking about where she's at. Introduce her to your husband and kids. Before you know it, it's time to go trick-or-treating, so y'all all go trick-or-treating. Y'all come back, still nothing from your sister. Your husband asks if you want to go to the police. Y'all both say no, it ain't gonna make a difference because they're gonna tell you gotta wait 24 hours. So if y'all haven't heard nothing by the morning, then y'all go. But at 11:59 on the dot, your phone ding, and it's the email. So everybody gathers around. It's a video and it's very grainy. When you guys press play, first it was hard to make out what was going on because all y'all saw was grass and concrete. But that's when y'all started realizing that she was being dragged across the grass and the concrete, and she was screaming. She was then picked up and dropped. It took a minute for her to land, and surprisingly, because how she had her phone around her, the camera landed looking straight up, and from the looks of it, she was dropped down in some kind of hole. So you guys can see a shadow at the top of the hole, so y'all hoping that the person that dropped her looks in the hole. As y'all see the shadow getting close, y'all zoom in, and even though it's grainy, y'all can still see the figure of the person at the top of that hole is you. So they both looking at you like, you got some explaining to do. You look at your husband and say, what are you talking about? I've literally been here all day. You could attest to that. He said, no, you left and went to the grocery store. The grocery store is 5 minutes away. You was gone for like an hour and you only came home with 2 bags. You say, duh, because I'm a certified yapper. I was in there yapping away. So the wife started pressing buttons in her phone and she's like, I'm about to call the police. You say, okay, call them. But then you get another email. This time it's a location. You tell your husband, watch them kids. I'm going to find my sister. You tell your sister wife, you could do whatever you want. She said, oh no, I'm coming with you. Y'all make it to the car. She hops in the passenger seat. You speak.
10 by 10. So y'all make it to this stupid old cemetery, and it's huge. Y'all really don't even know where to start. But as y'all keep walking, y'all see a well. And you say, I think that's it. You take out running, the wife running behind you. You make it to the well, and you look down. You call your sister name, she moaning a little bit, but she's clinging on. She barely making it. Then you feel something hit the back of your head. You stumble a little bit, but you catch your balance. Why her wife just hit you in the head with a brick? You feel red fluid leaking down your neck. You say, oh, hell no. Y'all get the tussle and you get the brick out of her hand. Y'all tussle a little bit more, and then you say night-night and put her straight to sleep. You take the scarf from around your neck and put it around your head to stop the leaking. Then you look back down in the well, and you tell your sister you calling 911. So you call 911. They say you they on the way. You start searching in her pockets, then you find some rope. You bind her right on up so she can't go nowhere. You get her phone and guess the passcode because it was your sister's birthday. Unlock it, and as you going through the phone, she's waking up. So she start laughing. You say, oh, this funny. Although you wanted to drag her by her skull, you couldn't because yours was clearly open. She said, y'all really thought that I was dumb. Y'all really thought that what's done in the dark don't come to the light. You say, excuse me? She said, your sister have a diary and she kept everything up in that diary. I got a hold to it one day. You mean to tell me y'all were in a relationship? You said, not that I have anything to explain to you, but we were raised in a toxic environment. What happened, we didn't mean for it to happen. Which is why when I left, I didn't look back. I no longer have feelings like that for my sister anymore. Well, she still got them like that for you. So I was just gonna make it easy for y'all, and y'all could just rest in eternal peace. So as she's saying that the cops pull up, they approach y'all, you fill them in on everything. You and your sister transported to the hospital. You ended up needing stitches. Both of her arms was broke and her leg was broke. And she was severely dehydrated. The cops ended up letting you know that they was never in two-step record. That she pretty much had planned everything out in her phone. And that the original video was also in her phone. She had altered the video that was sent to your email. And let's be clear, she had number of time she was on the road. And that's when you kind of flash back to in the house, and yeah, every time you got an email, her face was in her phone. Obviously, you got discharged first. When your sister did get discharged, she moved in with you. Your husband had already knew everything because you didn't keep nothing from him. You and your sister ended up going to family therapy and working through y'all issues. So now y'all relationship is healthy today. Her wife got sentenced to 30 years, and everybody else living happily ever after. The end.
This is the story about how I got possessed in New Orleans. If you
Sue is not wrong about New Orleans and the spookiness. She's not wrong, and I just experienced some weirdo stuff. So listen here. So I travel for work, and recently I've had to go to New Orleans like twice. Never had any bad experiences in New Orleans. It's been quite a party city for me, a lot of blackout nights, so I don't really think too much of it. But the past few times, things have happened that have been a little unexplainable. So the first situation, it was back in February. It was at the Hyatt Regency. I was there for a work event. Pretty nice hotel. It doesn't get like super old or anything. And it's not necessarily in the French Quarters. So didn't think anything of it. One of the nights I go to sleep, I'm waking up about 2 a.m. by something that sounds like, hold please. It sounds like, this is my example of someone turning a page. So I don't know if y'all are getting, but either way, what's that noise? So I heard it for a minute, but I'm like, maybe it's something outside, but then I keep hearing it. So at this point, I'm up. I'm like, what's up? What's good? And it doesn't happen again. Like the noise doesn't ever continue. So I'm up for like an hour because I'm like, ghost. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. And I can't do anything about it but go back to sleep. So that was the first situation. The second one most recently happened. I stayed at the Omni Royal Orleans or something like that. It's the Omni. And I was there for another work trip. Now this one, it was giving 1920s. Like, I don't even know if that's the right era, but it was giving spooky Halloween town. And as soon as I walked in this thing, I'm like, I'm going to have an experience. Like the halls are very old. It just gives like old Victorian, I don't know. It gives like very much so someone's living in this house. So the first night, again, around 2 a.m., I hear something that sounds like this. If y'all hear that, hopefully y'all do. But it's like nails or a hand is going like this on a wall, on a door, on something. Again, what is it that you want from me? Like, what is it that you want? So I wake up and I don't hear the noise again. Who's out there? Like, is anybody out there? It's giving Titanic. What is it? What do you want? How can I help you? So I later on, after listening to her story, looked up this hotel. Now it says this particular hotel is known for paranormal activity, and guests have seen a maid walking the hallways. Guests have been woken up by a maid or a guest tucking in their linens in the bed, standing right beside them. Like, excuse me? So you're telling me I was in a true haunted house or haunted hotel and I didn't even know it? Like, I don't play with goblins, ghouls, ghosts, anything that I can walk through. I just don't play with it. So tell me if y'all have had any experiences in New Orleans or at this specific hotel where it gave you the ick or gave you the heebie-jeebies. I would like to know.
This photographer had one of the spookiest experiences in Louisiana. He says, you ever seen something that shouldn't exist? I am back with another spooky story. So in 2017, Michael, who's a photographer, was working on a documentary about abandoned places in Louisiana. So he'd been driving down this old highway on Baton Rouge when suddenly his GPS just started going crazy. The signal was flickering in between coordinates that just didn't make sense. And then his car just dies, just like that. And he had no service, no way to call for help, so Michael just started walking. And he says that's when he saw the town. Michael says it wasn't on any map and it definitely shouldn't have been there. He said he saw these small wooden houses. The windows were dark and empty, gas lamps that were flickering. Even though there were no power line, Michael says that this whole place just felt wrong. Too quiet, like it was something waiting. Then Michael saw them. The people. He said that they were dressed in old-fashioned clothes, the kind that you'd see in history books. He says long dresses, suspenders, top hats, but their faces were blank. No expressions, just blank. He says these people's facial expressions is giving robotic. So Michael then turns to leave. However, the road that he had just taken was gone. It mysteriously disappeared. And this is when someone approached him and says, you're not supposed to be here. And as he's looking around, he notices this big mansion. It was this mansion that was sitting at the edge of town that looked like it had been rotting for centuries. The windows were boarded up, but Michael says that he could just feel that there was something inside. And whatever it was watching. Michael says he walks closer to the mansion, and that's when he saw it. He says in the second floor window was his reflection. Michael says his reflection, but not quite. It looked like him, but the eyes were black and his teeth were too sharp, and it was smiling. When suddenly Michael hears a voice saying, he's waiting for you. I know you guys hate part 2s, but I'm gonna have to because I have to get to work. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, feel free to submit it to me on Instagram or TikTok. And before I go, can I just take a brief moment for the lips? Can we admire for a little bit? Oh, this is what I use to line my lips. And you get a variety of different colors too. I was using like the darkest one that they have, like the darkest brown. And as you can see, and for every video, I'm gonna try a new lip liner. I'm gonna just link these in the video just in case you want it. You could just click it and put it in your cart, girl. Anyway, like I said, every single video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl.